This is the Blue Star linear switches by Next Time. This is their first attempt to enter the switch market, so how do they sound and feel? Let's find out. But first, a quick message from our channel sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for all your PCB prototyping needs, and let me tell you about their shared projects. This is an open source platform where creators can share their projects and inspire more enthusiasts into building. Not only that, if you find something interesting, you can quickly add it to your cart, and PCBWay will donate a 10% cost to the creator. If you want to learn more about this, head over now to pcbway.com, links in the description. What's going on, guys? Ox here and welcome back to my channel. We are back with yet, of course, another Switch review, and this time it's from a new Switch manufacturer called Next Time. This is my first time trying out a Switch from them, and as far as I can remember, they do sell some pre-built keyboards before, but anyways, this is a linear Switch that uses a Kale style housing, and I think the name Blue Star defines the look of the Switches, because as you can see, there's some glittering stars embedded on the Switch, which kind of gives it a unique look, but you know, we won't be able to see that once the keycaps are in. So in today's video, it's going to be the usual, a stock versus lube comparison, a Soundtest comparison versus other linear switches, and of course, a material breakdown. If you all want to hear my thoughts and opinion about the Blue Star Switch, please do stick around at the end of the Soundtest. And speaking of Soundtest, let me give you guys a quick disclaimer before we start. That the sound and experience will vary depending on your keyboard build, meaning to say that it might feel and sound different on your board. We'll of course be using the Vega 65 with a polycarbonate plate, a PCB to plate foam, and one case foam. The switches was lubed with a Krydox 205 grade 0 and 105 grade 0 on the springs. The keycaps that was used was a dummy key set, so with all of that out of the way, please do enjoy the sound test on the Next Time Blue Switches. So that was a sound test on the Next Time Blue switches. Please do let me know on what you think about them on my comment section down below, and let's have some quick discussion. As you know, I always try to answer your question as much as I can. Before we talk about my own thoughts and opinion, you already know what's next. Let's break down the materials that was used on the switch. As you can see, these are a 3-pin switch. And is using a kale style housing. So we have polycarbonate for the top housing, polycarbonate again for the bottom housing, and of course our favorite POM for the stem. Lastly, the springs with a 60-gram bottom out force. So that was a material breakdown on the Next Time Blue switches, and if you made it up to this point, I'd like to say thank you for staying, and again, reminding you that the sound and experience will vary depending on your keyboard build, so it might feel and sound different on your board. Finally, let's all talk about my thoughts on the feel. On stock, it was a 50-50. It's smooth, but it's not that smooth to use out of the box, and to be honest, for me, it just feels plasticky on stock and it feels a bit sluggish. Plus, you can really feel that lift crunch, and it's just not something that I would recommend using on stock. Once lube, it's still a bit like a 50-50 for me. I don't know if I got bad batches, but it just feels like a plastic raw feeling at times, but they do feel like a decent linear. It did remove the sluggish feeling when typing, but I was a bit surprised that it didn't really improve that well once I lubed them. Again, they are decent linear, but it's just not my preferred linears in terms of the feel. Remember that it will still boil down to your preference, so I may not like it, but for you or for some others, they might. Moving on to my thoughts on the sound. On stock, you can hear that plastic raw feeling that I always talk about, and sounded a bit all over the place. You can also hear a tad bit of spring pings, but I think this is just me being nitpicky. Once lube, of course, it sounded toned down and the pings were gone. Same as the feel, I really don't recommend using them on stock. So it's on that mid to high clack sound profile, but it sounded a bit too thin for my liking. They do sound like a decent linear, but for me, on my preference, it's really not the profile that I would go for. Overall, it's not really something that I would recommend getting. There are other better switches out there, and I recommend getting the KTT over these if ever you are curious. But hey, they do look nice, not gonna lie, and maybe if you are doing like a theme for a board, maybe you can consider getting them. But it's not something that surprised me. It's nothing too special, in short. They are decent linear, but it's not something that, again, I would recommend to get, especially if you have a certain budget for your build. Just get some KTTs or Akko switches. Again, this is based on my experience and preference. At the end of the day, it will still boil down to your own preference. So if you still want to try them, I would really suggest to get 10 packs of these switches. If you do have a vendor that carries them, just order 10, try to get a feel of them, and if you really like them, you can go from there. So that's it for the video, guys. I know this is quite short and simple, so I hope you still find this helpful, and if you do, please don't forget to hit the like button as it helps out my channel. Let's aim for the usual, the 50 likes. I know we can do it. What's next? Well, we are finally trying out another Akko switch, so it will be the palm switches that they have. It's been a while since I last covered them, so please stay tuned for that. Again, don't forget to hit the like button, share if you want, and of course, subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys on the next sound test. Peace.